Hi, it's Awaken with Joy Lynn today, and today I want to talk to you about what it really means to be a sinner. Like, what is it? Why why are we just out here screaming, "You're a sinner, you're a sinner, you're on to hell, you're a sinner, you're a sinner"? What does that really mean? But first, I wanted to tell all y'all that are sitting here seeing me get my ass kicked and trained by mathematics and not understand it, maybe think I'm in a cult or whatever, and then you feel the need to go online and research them and then get information and then send me a bunch of shit. Yeah, don't do that. Keep it. Just keep it. Just save your time. Don't do it. Because I've learned enough from this man now to stand on my own 2 feet. And I don't want any of that sent to me. So I have watched, what actually I do, when you send that stuff to me, the first thing I do is I go to your page. I go to your page and I see how many times you stood up for kids being raped, kids being now eaten. Have you talked out about your government doing those things to kids, all these pedophile congressmen and elected officials, No, you don't. I find nothing on your page that says you stand up for anything. So while he's out here calling out the hard stuff out, like the politicians, the religious leaders, all of these people that are doing horrendous crimes against children, humanity, everything. Some of us are screaming this. He is very much one of them. And then I go to your page and there's zilch, nothing, because your church has told you to keep your eyes on Jesus and just don't see any of that. Don't stand up for any of that stuff. Don't do anything, but just keep your eyes on Jesus. Well, you know what? You got to find him first. And when he told me that you find Jesus in the streets, I know what he means by that, because you start going in and you realize that one little review, one little bad thing on the internet can ruin somebody's total freaking life. One little what if you got a bad cop and they take your driver's license away and then you can't get it back and then you can't work and you can't do this. You can't freaking do anything without a driver's license. And when you go in the streets, you realize what those people's stories are, and you realize it's typically one little thing that triggered another thing and then you end up homeless. Nobody wants to take, this really ticks me off, because I have constantly sat here and watched Christians trash him, and then I get trashed, but they're so mean to him. And I watched this man give his last bit of money out to people, and he knows how to make money. So this is just stupid to me. I've seen what he's teaching me with this book thing, and I'm like, he knows how to make money, people. And then I see Christians trash him. He tells me a story, like he saw a lady going into a strip joint one time, and he tried to stop it because she didn't look comfortable. Like, she looked like she was really stressed. And they called the cops. Instead of them checking the situation out, he gets maced and then arrested and taken all of his shit. Okay? You don't think there's corrupt cops out there? So there's people out here that are calling these things out, these people. And if you're not willing to do that, and you're just willing to go and you want to pick apart everything that somebody is doing good, and it's always the Christians. When they're the ones sitting in the churches trapped under a religious system, who are you obeying, the religious system or God? You think about that. Who are you really obeying? I saw somebody yesterday, he was telling that some Satanist organizations, religions, are less satanic than the Christians. Less. So it's satanic, because there's so much satanic ritualistic shit that you guys are all doing in your churches that you have no clue about, that's how embedded it is, that there's some satanic organizations that are less satanic than some religious systems. I'm just saying, just putting it out there. So you want to take down the people, and every time somebody comes in, this is Stockholm Syndrome, people. You start defending your captors because they have trained you so well to defend their system. So then when somebody comes in and try to say, hey, let's stop raping children, let's stop, stealing, let's stop stealing from the people, let's stop, letting homeless starve on the streets because the churches take on $146 billion a year and they can't figure out how to get a few homeless people off the streets. Let's call this shit out. Let's call the organizations, three-letter agencies that are corrupt as hell. Let's call out the CPS for being the main traffickers. And let's call out ICE for who in the hell do you think was trafficking these kids? You're all praising ICE. Who do you think was trafficking the kids? Who? Like, you have to do that somehow. There has to be corruption. Who do you think was doing it? So you got people here crawling, and then you got the Stockholm people that are Stockholm syndrome people in the churches that are like, no, defend. You know how bad Israel is? You know how bad that government system is? They have a chokehold on everyone right now, including us, okay? And I try to call out them, and the Christians will stab me in the eye if I say anything about Israel, because they have been trained so well with Stockholm syndrome that they cannot see past it. And so, you know what? I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear one little review. I don't want to hear anything that you're saying bad about them, because they have spent years out in the streets feeding the homeless, taking care of them, bringing them coffee, bringing them pizza, any little thing, even if it's this much, they have done. So I don't want to hear it while your asses are sitting in the church doing ritual after ritual after ritual, tithing to NGOs, to sitting in the churches that they have to say certain things to get their tax exemption. And then you're going to, no, you're not doing that. Like, I am just going to probably block your ass because I don't want to hear it anymore. And if you can't see what I'm talking about, then you're going to really have a hard time when this shift comes, because they are checking hearts right now. I don't know what to tell you. When the wealth transfer flips, those ones that cannot see that there are people out there suffering, and that, who is the sinner in this scenario? Okay, say that somebody steals from a billionaire, or somebody that has enough money that they could help people, but they just want all their things and are selfish. So somebody steals. Let's say somebody steals from them because they don't know how much, what billion to spend a day, right? So they steal from them, and then they go feed a whole town of people, of homeless, and just really take care of and love on them with that money, okay? Who's the sinner? Who do you think Jesus is going to see as the sinner in that scenario, right? The ones that actually stole from the ones that have all the money and then handed it out to the people? Or do you think it's going to be the ones that sat there and said, oh, you stole from me because I didn't need that billion, or I needed that billion today and not that billion today? Who is the sinner? Who? And this is why Jesus said that tax collectors and prostitutes were going to go to heaven before religious leaders, who are now teaching their congregation to hate sinners. And instead of loving on them, instead of finding every freaking homeless person in the damn town to do something for and get them off the streets, they just sit there and say, you're a sinner and you're going to hell because of what? No. Jesus said you're not going to heaven because of what you did to the sinners. Ugh! I'm spitting. I'm so mad. You know what? I can come out of this now, though, because I've healed. So I won't stay angry. But I am angry. I am angry because you're constantly casting judgment onto everyone and sinners, and who really is the sinner? Who? And you know what? As from a nursing perspective, and just as somebody that loves science, you know what sinner really means? Sine wave, sinusoidal wave, because we're energy. We're literally energy. It's the ebbs and flow of life. So God threw you down here, and if you're not creating, if you're not doing what he wanted to, he gave you this experience. And if we're sitting here just following satanic rules, loving the matrix, loving the world and the things, and not really seeing and creating and loving and doing what he said, that's sinning. That's sinning. Not loving each other enough is sinning. So it's a sinusoidal wave, sine wave. Sin. We're all sinners. We're fallen angles of light. It just depends on how far you fall. And if you don't learn your freaking lessons, hell is when you have to when you have to repeat and repeat and repeat a lesson because you don't learn it. And a lot of you are not learning your lessons. You're thinking it's all about money, and it's not. It's about how you're going to respond to people in need, and if you're going to be passionate and empathic enough to be able to create a new world that we're going into. Otherwise, the shift is going to be very, very hard for you. So anyway, that's my thoughts for today. I'm not very happy. And like I said, I don't stand this anger very long anymore. But, who is the sinner? You really sit with that. Who is Jesus going to see as the real true sinner?